Presented by Salango Law. MetroNews Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. For your entertainment, Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK 304. Or call 800-765-8255. Here's the host for MetroNews Hotline, Dave Weekley.
Hey, Matt, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So when you play the opening theme, you know, the crescendo that precedes our award-winning program, is my mic open? Can I make, like, snide comments about the intro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably could have done that with you because you're sitting in for Coop.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
once he comes back tomorrow, you're going back to AAA.
That's right. I'm back to the minor leagues.
You're going back to the farm. But, I mean, that one line where it's for the listeners' entertainment, every day I almost feel like I want to say something, make some sort of a, wiseacre crack. And I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't know if my mic's open or not.
You know what? It's actually always on.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, at least when it's with me, because I trust you with your button over there to do your thing, and so I just let you have the control.
That would be your first mistake.
Well,
and maybe not the first, but the biggest one.
See, in the old days, on the old studio, we used. Well, no, I guess you did it in there too.
Yeah.
It's funny. Certain people need to have us push the button, while other people like you can do it yourself.
There's not too many things I can do in here.
Yeah.
Not too many things.
Some people in this company are scared of buttons.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you should see Jeff Jenkins operate this thing. It's like he's flying a starship in here.
He's pro.
He's an absolute pro.
Max pro.
By the way, hello, West Virginia. We're back for more in the 304. Time to get it done in the 681. Time to start this 3-hour audio tour for Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026, MetroNews Hotline. MetroNews Hotline comes to you from the Salango Law Studios. Visit salangolaw.com. What a gorgeous day it is here in Charleston.
It is.
A little chilly, but you know what? It is early April. Early April.
That's a good point.
Came to work, didn't even bring a jacket. I got a sweater on, don't need a jacket.
It's one of those days where if your car's been parked out in the lot all afternoon in the sunshine, it's super hot inside, but it's a little chilly outside.
That's right. And when you start the car and you look down and look at what the car temperature says it is outside, it's like, well, you know it's 54, but your car is probably telling you it's like 87.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. So we got a lot of stuff for you today. You know what? Bryan took off today.
He ran away.
He just ran away. You know, I guess maybe we embarrassed him yesterday in the crosstalk segment. I don't know.
Oh, well.
But you know what he told me, though? He said that, I got special topics for you and Matt for the crosstalk. You guys are going to love them. And he goes, I can't make it. I'm setting up my computer at home. And he started telling me about the number of fans he has inside his new computer.
There's several?
There was like 7.
So he's built a gaming PC.
He's all about the video games and all that stuff that the kids go crazy over these days. But my thing is, what is your first reaction when the fan comes on your computer? What's your first reaction when you hear the fan?
Well, ideally, I won't hear the fan, but when there's 7 of them...
Thank you. That is exactly the right answer. That's exactly the right answer. Well, my thing is, something's not right, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Something is not right. This thing is overheating for whatever reason. I don't like the sound of that fan coming on, okay? Now, I can't even imagine what I would feel like if, like, multiple fans started coming on. And his response was, pretty pragmatic. He said, it just shows that the fan is working, which that's a pretty good answer, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good answer. So that's why he's not here. He's home checking his fans.
I mean, at that point, when you have 7 of them, it's like the vacuum cleaner turning on, basically.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's a lot of fans.
That is a lot of fans. That's a lot of fans.
It won't overheat, though.
No. Hey, Don't forget about our podcast. You can listen to our show at a time that's convenient for you. Check out your favorite podcast provider or just go to the website. That's what I do, WVMetroNews.com. Click on the podcast link, select Hotline, and you're there. You can listen to any or all of our 3 hours every weekday afternoon. We'll have a look at all of today's biggest headlines from the state of West Virginia in the News Roundup, checking in on all the top stories from around here in just a moment. It's been another busy news day in the old WV, aren't they all? And we'll get to the bottom of all that in just a moment. Things you need to know about us. We don't take ourselves all that seriously here. Nope. We're a politics-free zone. What you're normally going to get here is sports, popular culture. We like to talk about music. If I have my way, we're going to do all that stuff today. If you have something on your mind you need to tell us about, hey, text us. 304-8255, 304-304-TALK, 304, or just tweet me at Weekly, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. I won't bite. Not hard anyway. You can send stuff in. And, I don't really argue with you on your social media messages to me. Now, if there's something I want to say about a message, I will, but I'm not going to attack you. Our program's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We'll take you through the afternoon here in the Mountain State right up until 6 o'clock. And as it relates to West Virginia over the course of the show, we'll keep you updated on everything you need to know. Local news, local sports, the weather, even some traffic tips to get you home safe. So, are you doing traffic today, Matt? Are you the traffic master?
Yeah.
What time does traffic reports start around here?
It starts around 4:05.
All right, 4:05. Duly noted.
Mm-hmm.
This show is 3 hours long. You're thinking to yourself, what's this show about? I've been listening to it for 2 minutes. What's it about? It's about 3 hours long. And that's where my focus is now. What you do with the other 21 hours in your day, that's up to you. And it's none of my business. Dale Cooper's my producer, but his suspension ends tomorrow, right? He'll be back online.
He'll be
with
back
the next
in?
shift. The next shift he'll be in. So you can find Coop. I don't know if you can find him when he's out of the box. You can leave a message for him. You could go over to X and check out his page, which is WV Hotline.
But has he been there? Has he been there?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about any of that. So we got a lot of stuff in the show today. Got some new people in the show today. Some of our regulars. I think if I don't mess this thing up, it's going to be a good show. Did you watch any of the NCAA basketball championship game last night from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, where Michigan is now, hail to the victors, Michigan is now the champion of college basketball for this year?
I did not.
You didn't even tune in after we had that great conversation yesterday about one shining moment?
Look, by the time I finally left this place yesterday,
the ball is tossed.
And
there you are.
I was tired.
Okay.
I was tired. I went home and I went to bed.
Really?
It was a long day. I had a long day yesterday.
Yeah, I could sense that. You were going from like one sort of important thing working on this show to something else that was important right after the show was over.
Trying to cover for Dale Cooper is a challenge. It takes Ryan and I both, and I have like 2 other jobs in the building that I do anyway, so,
So I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a rock fight game. Crazy game, football stadium. Nobody can really make any shots. Michigan led the majority of the way. It got a little bit interesting at the end of the game where UConn pulled to within 4 and Michigan missed a couple of free throws. But in the end, the Wolverines were cutting down the nets. Let me ask you, and I asked Dave Allen this. Have you ever wanted to watch a basketball game inside of a football stadium?
No, never. And for that matter, I've never wanted to watch a baseball game in a NASCAR track either. The only thing to me that is acceptable to take one sport and put it somewhere else is hockey, and only in Fenway.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
It just doesn't work for me. Because you got to figure, even if you were down in like the lower level, the 100 level seats, a basketball court is a third of the size of a football field? Can you see anything from there?
Some of the seats that I saw yesterday before the game began, about how far away they actually were from the court. I mean, I guess if WVU played in a national championship game and they played in a football stadium, I'd be interested in going to the game just as to, check that box and say I was at the game.
Sure.
But I can't really see how that would be a very pleasant experience. How can you even tell what's really going on?
Are they doing this just to sell more seats?
Oh, hey, it's sports. It's college sports. What does anybody do anything for?
Right.
Okay? It's all about stacking it.
But, I mean, some of these, you find like an NBA arena. Like, go to, one of the top 3 biggest ones. You're bound to get, 30, 40,000 people maybe? Like, do you really need to sell an extra 20? I don't know. There's no way that could be fun.
All right. I was asking Ryan about this before the show, and this is something too. Speaking of social media, I'm locked in on the question of the day because I've already put it out there.
Right.
And then,
yes.
and if you follow me on X, you already see what the question of the day is. Like 90 minutes before the show began. Today is one of those very rare instances where I came to work and came up with a better one on my way to work, and now I can't change it.
Nope, you're stuck.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I'm stuck with the one we got. And I'm not doing a very good job of selling it, am I? I'm already saying like it's second rate to the conversation we're about to have.
You are.
But here's the question: what's the worst seat you've ever had for a performance?
Oh,
what is the worst seat you have ever had for a performance? Because I've got 2.
Okay.
All right, you want to hear one?
Yeah.
Okay. When I was in high school, somehow, I don't know how, I don't even remember. I remember the event, but I don't remember how I got the tickets. I got 4 tickets to go see the Steelers play the Broncos. All right?
Okay.
So 17-year-old me saddles up the car, including the 8-track player, and I get 3 of my no-good pals.
Oh, yeah.
And we drive to Pittsburgh to go see the Steelers play the Broncos. I'm 17 years old. I have no idea where to park. We're circling Three Rivers Stadium. The game has started. Roy Jarella kicks a field goal while we're literally still in the car in the first quarter. It's 3-0. We finally get the car parked. It's a beautiful day. We finally get the car parked. We get into Three Rivers Stadium. Our seats are in the back of the end zone in the upper deck. And when I say the upper deck, I mean the absolute last row. We were in the last row behind the end zone at Three River Stadium. Literally, and this is what I mean, we're in the back row. You could stand up and lean against the cement wall in the back. We could turn around, and we were looking into the triangle.
Wow.
We were literally looking into the triangle. And when you look down onto the field, there was a small corner of the end zone to my left that we could not see, okay? We could see like 98% of the field, but there was 2% of the back of the end zone to the left that we could not see, okay? In this game, Terry Bradshaw throws not 1, but 2 touchdown passes to Lynn Swann in the exact spot that I could not see the action. Denver kicks a field goal. I saw that. The game ended 17-3. I saw no Steeler points.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
And one of the catches, when they always do like a retrospective of Lynn Swann and what an incredible wide receiver he was for Pittsburgh, always includes one of these catches from this game against Denver, which I attended but could not see because of my obstructed view.
Oh.
That is the story that I always think about with like worst seats ever for. Hey, I'm glad I went.
Sure.
I'm glad I went. If I remember right, we were going through the Fort Pitt Tunnel and my 8-track player was blasting Disco Inferno, waiting to come out on the other side. But what do you think? What was the worst seat you've ever had for an event?
I have purposefully bought last row tickets to Major League Baseball games in the past. I have done that a few times at Great American Ballpark based on the weather.
Okay.
Because if you've ever been there, depending on which side you're sitting on, if you're over there on the third base side and it's like middle of the day, the sunshine is just beating on you. So I will buy in the very top row because it has that lip. So is it the worst seat I've ever had? Well, kind of, because you're way up there and far away, but at the same time, it's like I have shade, whereas no one else does.
Here's the secret also. Sometimes if you have an opportunity to buy a ticket like that, you'll just simply buy it because it'll get you into the building, right?
Well, and I do that too.
And you'll be wandering around.
Yep.
Like, where's your seat? It doesn't matter. I've decided to stand over here next to the bullpen for an inning or so.
Yep.
And then I'm going to be in the beer line for an inning as well, so maybe I'll make it out to my seat later. And then as the game moves on, there's nobody in my section. I'm just moving down. You're in the upper deck. How about this? When you're in the upper deck and you are looking around to see where the usher is.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to know where that usher is, right?
Yep.
Because if you can find where he is and you keep your eye on him and there's a block of empty seats, you're going to be able to slide down into those seats. He's not going to come after you.
Last time I saw a game at PNC, the Pirates were playing the Padres, and I was in the 500 level or 400, whatever they call it up there, way up top. By the end of the game, I was right behind home plate, 10 rows back. The usher didn't say a word.
You know what? Ryan had a good take on this. He could have expressed it himself if he wasn't working on his computer fan back at the house. But he made a great point about concerts, and you probably can realize this as well. Sometimes the front row is not where you want to be. You think,
I agree.
Hey, I'm in the front row. Well, great. So you're looking up Axl Rose's nostrils. You can't, you can't see anything, and you can't really see the pyrotechnics or anything that are going on. You can't watch the big screen. Sometimes you don't want to be in the front row.
I like going to stadium performances. I actually also PNC. I saw Green Day there a couple of years ago, and I was down on the field, but I purposely was like towards the back because the stage is level with your head, so your neck is back and you're looking up the whole time. It's not fun if you're doing that for a 4-hour concert.
No, and it's sort of like at the movies too. It's like, You know what? This movie, I'm so excited to go see this film. I'm going to rush down when they open, when they get the turnstiles going. I'm going right down to the front. And so suddenly you got your neck creaked up and you're looking up at this gigantic screen for the next 2.5 hours. That's not a good seat.
Yep.
That's not a good seat.
It's not good.
Now, see, this would have been a better question of the day. I haven't even laid it out there, but this conversation about the worst seat you've ever had for an event would have been a good question of the day.
Could use it tomorrow.
Well, I guess I could. Well, Jeff Jenkins is here. Jeff, what's the worst seat you've ever had for an event? Let me turn your mic on. That'll probably help. What's the worst seat you've ever had for an event?
Oh, it's not close. It's Lucas Oil Arena, where they played the Final Four last night when I went to the Final Four in West Virginia play.
Yeah.
And on that Saturday, obviously that's the only game West Virginia played. But, they were as good as tickets that I think I could have gotten because it was with the athletic staff. It was with the WVU, it was with the staff, people who went.
Right.
And it was behind the basket, to the right of the basket, like 100 yards, maybe. I mean, it was by the tunnel where the Mountaineers ran out, but you got to run out like a quarter of a mile. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it was just so, it wouldn't have been, I don't know. It was just so back, and it wasn't high enough. It was just back, and it was a tough seat.
Yeah, that's a tough seat.
I mean, I was glad I was there, but it was a tough
That's
seat.
right. You were there. It's like, hey, you were in the arena when WVU was playing in the Final Four. There's something to be said for that. What do you got in the news? What's going on?
Yeah, at WVMetroNews.com, Dave, we've got a couple of things and working on a couple of things. There was an officer-involved shooting down in Greenbrier County near Greenbrier West High School overnight. Doesn't involve the school or any kids or anything like that. You can read a story. A woman was shot, and you can read that at WVMetroNews.com. Also, we've got a story, continuing to follow this story about this baby's death in Brooke County. Parents are charged there, but now there's some animal cruelty charges or animal torture charges against the couple. We've got that updated story and several other things at the website.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, man, what about the Reds pitching? Brandon Williamson last night, right?
It's good. They're not scoring any runs, but they got 3 shutouts already.
Yeah, they got 28 runs in 10 games, but yet they've got a winning record.
7-3.
Yeah, it's really good. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
Ask yourself what you will miss more.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this and what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now you just
so I'm gonna turn on. I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Hotline with Dave Weekly will return on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. A Brooke County couple charged in the death of their 1-month-old child also allegedly mistreated 2 pit bulls. Additional charges filed in Brooke County Magistrate Court against Caleb DiCaprio and Hope Taylor say the 2 dogs were found chained up in the basement of the home, surrounded by urine and feces. The criminal complaint says the dogs, which were still alive, were in an emaciated state. The criminal complaint says it alleged the dogs were intentionally subjected to torture as a result of their living conditions. The $1,000 bail each for both DiCaprio and Taylor has now been increased to $200,000. A Martinsburg man faces more than 1,000 years behind bars after being convicted late last week on 24 sex-related crimes against a child. 54-year-old Paul Rittenauer will be sentenced in June. Read more on that case at WVMetroNews.com. State workers taking advantage of sunny skies today at the State Capitol Complex. A Mountaineer Mile Walk sponsored by PEIA. Brent Wolfenberger heads up the agency.
It's very important because, sometimes people get in the doldrums during the winter and it's cold. It's hard to get motivated to be physically active. But now the spring's here. It's warmer. It's easier to get out to our state parks and, ride a bike along the river or just things that actually don't even cost a whole lot of money.
You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Come on, Liam, let's go. Get open! Come on, go for it! Wake up! Wake up, Liam! Oh, come on, use your head! Gotta want it! Dominate!
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. It's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
National Weather Service meteorologist Ray Young said it's going to get really cold tonight.
Actually, we got spoiled because it was unusually warm. For Charleston, for example, we're already 12.6 degrees above normal for the month so far. So we got a little too spoiled from the warmth, and we were above normal at the end of March as well. So we're kind of just getting back to a little reality.
So tonight, across the state, most of the state will be under a freeze warning. Temperatures down into the 20s. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing.
To get the help you need.
To find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
All right, welcome back to the show. 26 minutes till the hour. We got a lot of stuff happening in the program today. We're going to be talking about organ donation here in just a second. An offshoot of that conversation is going to be with a Harrison County referee who's gone through a heart transplant and who is back out on the field. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about that in a sec. A little bit later on in this half hour, we will get into the sound of sports. Dave Bryan, Steeler Depot, will be back at 4 o'clock. We're now less than a month away from the NFL draft, which will be in Pittsburgh. And speaking of Pittsburgh, our hockey insider will be with us at 4:33. Pens about to punch their ticket for the playoffs. What about Geno Malkin? Will he be back? What kind of contract will he be looking for? What's going on with the Caps? How much longer will Ovi play? And how about this rash of NHL firings and changes in general managers? As we are coming down the stretch into the regular season, we will get into that. That will be at 4:33 today. And Anthony Lewis, our Mountaineer Insider, will be by at 5 o'clock. So you've tuned in on a good day. If this is the first time you've been on our program as a listener, we're happy to have you. All right, our question of the day. So let's get that set. The college basketball season came to an end last night in Indianapolis, where Michigan won the national championship. They held UConn at arm's length for the majority of the night. The Huskies made it interesting in the last minute, but when they cut down the nets, hail to the victors. Michigan is your champion of college football or college basketball for this season. So here's the question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And secondarily, are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? And that question is a little trickier than it first seems. So think about that. We've got some really good responses to this already, but I'd like to get yours in there as well. Once again, our question of the day, sponsored by Salango Law. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? To respond, text those in. We want your text messages. 304-TALK 304, 304-8255-304. You can find me at X at Weekly, WEEKLEY. One word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Did you know that only 35% of West Virginians are registered organ donors? That seems like a really, really low number. And Jarod Bedekovich joins me now. He's the head of PR for CORE that follows this very important situation closely. Jarod, thanks for coming on the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, man. Well, let's talk about this. How many, there are West Virginians, how many, 500 or so, that are currently waiting on organ donations?
Yep. There are about 500 West Virginians waiting for a second chance of life. Yep.
So why are we talking about this now? Is this a specific story to April?
Sure. Yes. So April is National Donate Life Month. So it's just an entire month trying to raise awareness about those waiting for a transplant and just the simple decision that anyone can make of signing up to be an organ donor and giving hope to those who are waiting.
All right. So for someone who's hearing our broadcast and they're thinking, you know what, that seems like a really difficult situation where only 35% of us have signed up for organ donations, and there are 500 West Virginians that are waiting on all kinds of organs. How do we get involved? How do you sign up for organ donation?
Sure. So there are 3 ways that people in West Virginia can sign up. You can either go to our website, which is core.org/register, and sign up online. You could check the box the next time you're at the DMV and sign up to be an organ donor there. Or since we're getting into springtime and summertime, you can also sign up on your hunting and fishing licenses. So whenever you go to get those, you can sign up there too.
Get that, Matt. Hunting and fishing licenses. Now, now we're learning a little bit something.
Yes, we are.
We're learning a little bit of something. So what kind of organs are we talking about, Jarod?
Heart, lungs, kidneys, liver are just the usual ones. You can also donate tissue, so helping in like skin grafts or like a burn victim or tendons. So if you're talking about sports, which you're going to be with Joe Jett here in a little bit,
right?
If you tear your ACL or something like that, you could donate tissue and a person could get that. So when my brother was playing football and he tore everything but his ACL, he got some donor tissue to reconstruct his knee. So you can also donate that. And then you can also donate corneas so you can help people regain their eyesight.
Wow. I'm looking at some of the stats on this. So after an organ donation, the owner of this new organ sometimes will get as much as 25 additional years of life?
Yep. Just depends on the age of the recipient and how progressive their disease is or what they needed it for. There's a whole bunch of factors, but yeah, just know that recipients and their family and friends are happy for any extra time that they can have just to continue living their life and being there with their friends and family doing their favorite hobbies.
Yeah, and Joe Jett, who's coming on here in a second, has a really good story in relation to that. So yeah, this is a really, really interesting program. How long have you been with it?
I have been with CORE for a little over 2 years now.
Okay. So where are we the population of West Virginia is slightly dropping. It's unusual in that regard to the rest of the states in the country. Are organ donations down? Are they up? Where do we stand in that regard?
So just for CORE in general, we've actually had our 2025 was our 7th record-breaking year. So
Great.
Year over year, we've been increasing the number of organs transplanted. That's also due with people and family members saying yes to organ donation, and also to advances in technology that we as in CORE are investing in and using that help with the viability of organ transplants and making them more available to more people.
Jarod, thanks for jumping on with us today. Jarod Bedekovich, the PR director of CORE, and we're talking about organ donations here in West Virginia. Thanks, Jarod.
Yep, thank you for having me on and talking about this.
All right, let's get Joe Jett in here. Hey, Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, man, thanks for coming on the show. I was reading your story last night, and I saw a lot of stuff in your story that I really recognize. You still living over there in West Milford?
Yes.
There is a picture of your family from the wedding of one of your daughters from 5 years ago, and I got to tell you, man, this is such a good-looking family. Is everybody doing okay? How's your daughter's?
Yes.
How's your daughter doing after they were all so happy in this picture? People of all ages, and you're in the back. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing real good.
So tell me,
babysit two of my grandkids, and I still do baseball, still do football. Actually, I'm getting ready to head to a game right now.
Yeah, what are you doing? What game you doing?
I got East Fairmont and Buchanan Upshur today at East Side.
All right. You got the plate?
No.
Okay.
I had the plate last night. I did Fairmont Senior and Buchanan Upshur last night.
Okay. Well, do players and managers take it easy on you because they know you've had a heart transplant?
I mean, they talk to me. The kids talk to me. They're good. They're great to me. The managers know. My guys that do our scheduling and the guys that I work with know, and they keep an eye on me. They make sure that I put my sunscreen on, and because after having a transplant, the immune suppressant drugs you'll get skin cancer if you don't dress right. So I wear long sleeve shirts when I can, and 100 SPF sunscreen on my face. Your ears and your nose are the worst.
Hey, let me ask you, how long ago?
Very easy.
How long ago did you have a heart transplant?
October the 23rd of 2020, right in the middle of COVID.
Well, look at this. I mean, it's oh my goodness. So it was a double whammy. I mean, you were dealing with a heart transplant and in the middle of the pandemic. So here you are, 6 years later. I mean, the story I read in the Exponent Telegram about you, which was a very detailed story, really well written. You were really determined to get back out on the field, and you wanted to be there when your daughter got married. I would say to this point, it's really worked out very well for you.
Oh, yes. I am in very, very good health. I went up last Thursday for my 5.5-year checkup, and they couldn't believe it. They said, I'm just, my blood work was all good. They said, they wish I lived closer to Pittsburgh, is what my transplant coordinator says, because she said, I can motivate people. She said, I was out in 7 days from having the transplant. I was 57 years old then.
So you're what now? You're 62, 63?
63.
63.
I just turned 63 the end of March.
Hey, when was the last time you did high school football?
Last November I did playoff game.
Which one?
Oh, I think it was Woodrow.
Oh, okay. Were you going to do football again this fall?
I can't remember. Oh, yeah. We already got our schedules and everything. The crew that I'm on, we did the single A championship game in 2024. So,
Really?
In football, yes.
Well, hey,
they had the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say go ahead. I'm wrapping up with you, but I did want to hear what you had to say.
They put me on TV, and they had a write-up, CORE did, and, so we had a great time. Hoping to get to baseball this year.
Hey, Joe, I hope I get a chance to meet you at some point in the future. I was really inspired by your story, and I know I'm not the only one. I loved reading your story about your family and how you've gotten back out on the field in a variety of ways, refereeing and umpiring games. So you have yourself a good day because you've been an inspiration to a lot of people.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me tell my story, and hopefully we will get more people to donate.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Now I can't donate my heart, but I can give anything else.
Good for you. Thanks, Joe. Talk to you down the road.
Thank you. You have a good day.
All right, Joe Jett. How about that?
Awesome.
That's great, right?
Awesome stuff.
Yeah. So take it easy on that guy, coaches.
Yeah, really.
know?
Don't give the
Take it
guy a
easy.
hard time. He's been through it.
He's been there and back, man.
That's awesome. He's back out there, though.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I love that story. Good stuff. And hey, listen, if he's from West Milford, he's okay with me. That's the way I look at it. I may be in Charleston. I've been in Charleston a long time, but I'm a Harrison County guy, so I really love that story. And you should see this family. I mean, they are adorable. They are adorable. This picture is just great. What a good-looking family. He's got a lot to live for. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the Sound of Sports in a moment.
Hi, I'm Brittany Hedrick. As an environmental project manager at CEC, working in West Virginia, the land taught me respect and responsibility. Whether it's navigating complex regulations or overseeing site assessments, I ensure every project thrives. CEC isn't just where I work, it's where I make a difference. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
MetroNews Hotline, brought to you by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this, or what about that? And it just went back and forth, and I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now
right.
you just
So I'm
gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Vets today.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's jump into the sound of sports. And we'll start with the end of the college basketball season last night. Last night in Indianapolis, Michigan won the national championship, holding off UConn 69-63. Here are the final seconds coming off the clock.
It's Smith. They have no timeouts remaining. Smith will bring it up the floor quickly. Smith on the drive to the rim. Missed the layup. Rebound loose. Scooped up by Gale. He'll throw it to the other end of the floor. Caravan tracks it down with 2 seconds. With one, he throws it to half court. And since 1989, there's been a blank space in the Michigan trophy case. Will write their name. Michigan, the 2026 men's basketball national champions. They knock off UConn 69-63 to win the school's second men's basketball championship.
Thanks to Westwood One for that clip. Here's Michigan's Dusty May on winning this year's national title.
When you bring a group this talented together and they decide from the beginning that they're going to do it this way and they never waver and they never change, that's probably the most uncommon thing in athletics now, and it's a tribute to their character, but also those in their circles around them, their coaches, their parents, their mentors. They allowed these guys to give themselves up for the group, and it's never guaranteed, but for these guys to cut down the nets after all they sacrifice is pretty special.
With the win over the Huskies last night, Michigan became the first team to beat UConn in the Sweet 16 or later since Michigan State beat the Huskies in the 2009 Final Four. UConn held Michigan under 70 points after the Wolverines had scored 90 or more points in 5 straight games in this tournament, but it wasn't enough. According to Dan Hurley, UConn's inability to get its offense going was the difference.
Obviously, for us, it's tough. Again, we did not come here for watches. We came here for rings, and it's hard to be. I'm not real emotional. Players are crying a lot more than I am. It's hard to be upset with your team. We lost the game because we missed. We missed. We didn't make enough shots.
Now that the season is over, the portal for men's college hoops is open. College football now. WVU spring drills continue in Morgantown. According to Rich Rod, he's cutting down the plays in an effort to get better results.
And I'm forcing the coaches to hone down the playlist, so to speak. I'm not. We got to evaluate our guys. We got a few more practices this spring to evaluate what we have, and I don't want our guys not being able to show their true self because we have 3,000 play calls on offense or defense or what have you. So I'm honing them down a little bit. We're going to try to split the team up, have a little draft in the staff for the players, and have a couple scrimmage situations and let them compete and just try to make a true evaluation where we're at with the guys that are practicing right now.
Last night in the major leagues in Pittsburgh, the Padres snapped the Pirates' 5-game winning streak, beating the Bucks 5-0. The Pirates struggled at the plate, and in the 5th, Bryan Reynolds lost a fly ball to left that cost the Bucks another run.
0 for 2 in the ball game and lifts a fly ball the other way to left field. Reynolds will have room as he goes back, and he can't catch it. Oh, he was just drifting. Ends up going up over the fence. That will plate a run. Laureano will be given the plate on the rule book double. And the Padres take a 2-0 lead. Well, I don't know what happened to Reynolds there. He badly misjudged that ball as he moved back.
He most certainly did.
All right, Pirates ace Paul Skeens gets the call tonight against the Padres' Nick Pivetta in the middle game of that series. Let's take a quick break. We're coming back to wrap the hour in just a moment.
MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The conversation starts long before the game.
He doesn't do this to other guests, but every time I'm on here, he creates distractions.
Disrespectful.
With his phone. I mean,
I have to have the phone on in case Pete Thamel breaks another story.
Oh, yeah.
Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television, available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronews.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Fighting blindness.
All right, the financial markets are starting to rally a bit into the close, still mostly down on the day. We'll run down all of the numbers after the top of the hour. Stay tuned for the news at the top. We'll take a look at the financial markets, reset our question of the day, and with the NFL draft in Pittsburgh less than a month away, what are the Steelers up to? We'll get into that when we come back. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so, and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it, because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school, you did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet, and it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian. Who
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably... Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bounced him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Yeah. 10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
This is MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law. MetroNews Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour, navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no-politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for MetroNews Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hour number 2, how do you do? MetroNews Hotline, keeping you company here in West Virginia every weekday afternoon, right up until 6 o'clock here on the Metro News Radio Network. Hey, wherever you're listening to the show today, we hope you're having a good day out there. Nice sunshiny day here in Charleston. Temperatures in the mid-50s. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it more than you know. Hashtag 180 Club members. I hope you're having a good one out there. By the way, some people ask me, like, what does that mean? Hashtag 180 Club. Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour. This show is 3 hours long, so 3 times 60, according to my Harrison County math, is 180, and so hashtag 180 Club. That's what we do. We do it 5 times a week, Monday through Friday here on the program. Thanks for asking about that as well. All right, we got a busy hour for you. We will take a quick peek at what happened in the financial markets today. Really interesting close of the day in light of the president's deadline on another attack in the Middle East scheduled for 8 o'clock tonight. How weird is that? And we'll take a look at some of the news that is bringing the market back here at the close. We'll also take a look at the energy prices, check the crypto, reset our question of the day. Dave Bryan from Steeler Depot will be here in just a couple of minutes. Steelers hosting the draft. The NFL draft will be in Pittsburgh in less than a month. What are the Steelers up to? And some really interesting stuff that's at the site today about Joey Porter Jr. and trash-talking some of the other wide receivers in the National Football League. This is a pretty interesting story, so we're going to get into that here in just a minute. We've got the entertainment report coming at 4:25. We'll do a hockey segment at 4:33. Penguins are on the verge of qualifying for the playoffs for the first time in the last couple of years. What's going on with, what kind of a Geno Malkin? I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be his farewell tour. He may not be done playing hockey, but he's probably done playing hockey in Pittsburgh. He's responded with an outstanding season, but he's in the last year of a contract. Do you bring him back? Do you give him a multi-year deal? What kind of money could he be looking for in the free agent market? We'll talk about that. Also, we have a lot of listeners over in the Eastern Panhandle, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Caps. Caps are going to miss the playoffs this year. And, what happened to the Caps this year? What was the problem? Also, Alex Ovechkin, how much longer is he going to play? What records are left for Ovi? So we'll get into that. That'll be at 4:33. And then Anthony Lewis will be back in studio with us for the first time in a couple of weeks to talk about Mountaineer topics, and there's a lot of that to get into. All right, first of all, question of the day. Question of the day, sponsored by Salango Law. Michigan won the college basketball national championship last night. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And secondarily, are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? All right? That's the question of the day. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball now than you were a year ago when the season ended? Text line 304-TALK-304, 304-825-5304. I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY. I'm very interested in what you have to say. By the way, before we move on to the stock report today, in regards to this, with Michigan winning the national championship last night, the final AP Top 25 poll for this season is out. So this will be the final AP Top 25 for this year in men's college basketball. And here's how it went. Michigan, obviously, got all 57 first-place votes. They're number one, followed by Connecticut, Arizona, Duke, and Illinois in the top 5. 6 through 10, Purdue, Houston, Iowa State, Florida, and St. John's. 11 through 15, Michigan State, Tennessee, Arkansas, Nebraska, and Iowa. 16 through 20, Alabama, Virginia, Gonzaga, Vandy, Kansas, and Texas Tech. And your final 5 teams, Texas, Louisville, Miami, and Wisconsin. And there you go. That's your AP Top 25, the final poll. So, a lot of people will be talking about these final rankings until the beginning of next season. And if you want to break it down by conference, the Big Ten had 7 teams in the final top 25. That's the most of any conference, including 2 that made the Final Four. The second conference to have the most teams in was not the Big 12. It was the SEC. The Southeastern Conference had 6 teams in the final top 25. The Big 12 had 5, and many of those were in the top 10. Let me count those up. Arizona was 3rd. Houston was 7th, so that's 2 in the top 7. Iowa State, 3 in the top 10. So 3 of the 5 that the Big 12 had in the final AP Top 25 were in the top 10. The ACC and the Big East had 2 apiece. All right, here's the stock report for today. So, late breaking news: the Prime Minister of Pakistan is coming forth with something for both the United States and for Iran. He's proposing a 2-week ceasefire, pushing the deadline that's coming tonight at 8 o'clock from the president back for 2 weeks. From Iran, he would like the Straits of Hormuz to be opened up during this two-week period. Whether that's going to happen, and both governments have not responded to it yet, but that did move the market quite a bit. The Dow was down, but showed some strength into the close. The Dow was down only 85 points today, closing at 46,554. S&P 500 and NASDAQ on that news both turned positive at the end of the day, but just by a little bit. The S&P 500 was up, but only by 5 points, closing at 6616. NASDAQ was up 21 points, closing at 22,017. Amongst stocks related to West Virginia that were big percentage gainers or losers today, FMC was up 2.5%, tacked on 44 cents, 17.65 at the close. Halliburton likewise was up 2.3%, added 85 cents, 38.67 at the close. Other stocks down included Lowe's. Lowe's was down 1.6%, lost $3.81, $231.40 at the close. In the energy space, oil, which was way up earlier, actually finished down on the day in light of this news from the Pakistani Prime Minister, finished down 0.6%, lost 73 cents today. WTI and the NYMEX still closed north of $110 at $111.68. Nat gas, a snapshot on that because that's being traded at the moment. Nat gas is up 1.4% today, tacked on 4 cents, trading right now at $2.85 per unit. And Bitcoin today was down 0.4%, lost $275, trading currently at $69,430 per coin. All right, let's get some Steeler football talk going. Let's get Dave Bryan from Steeler Depot in here to talk about the black and gold. Dave, how you doing this afternoon?
All right, happy Tuesday. Happy, hopefully we get to see Marcelo Zuna break out of his slump later today with the Pirates, and maybe the Pirates can score some runs this afternoon against the Padres as well too. But I'm having a great day. We're less than 3 weeks to go until the NFL draft here at this point, and the Steelers had 3 more pre-draft visitors in today as well too, so that's exciting.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So who came in? Who did the Steelers kick the tires on today?
Well, you had, and it's been rumored to be happening for a little while now. We're just waiting for the actual date to happen. Denzel Boston, the wide receiver out of Washington, big kid there, and obviously had a nice career at Washington. Expected to potentially be a later first round type wide receiver. He was in, and once again, we knew that visit was coming at some point, but it had never been confirmed when indeed it was going to happen. So he was in today. Darrell Jackson Jr., a defensive tackle out of Florida State. When you look at his measurables, man, he really matches up to what the Steelers look for in those big defensive tackle / defensive ends. He's 6'5.5", 315 pounds, got some real long arms, 34 3/4. His hands, man, 11 inches on this dude here. And I think he's he was both a Shrine Bowl and a Senior Bowl participant there. So he's probably going to be, probably 3rd, 4th round type of player. But if the Steelers wanted to add another defensive tackle type, he now is in the picture, I think, in the middle rounds there. And then a little bit of a sleeper there was the Duggar kid out of Louisiana Lafayette. And he is a Pittsburgh product overall, played inside linebacker at Louisiana Lafayette. So he is technically considered a local visitor and will not count against the 30 overall. So that was the 3 that you had in there today.
Yeah, Duggar played at Penn Hills High. Let me ask you this about the mock drafts. Hey, man, how many mock drafts do you think you're going to do before the actual draft? How many?
I only do one. I used to be when I had started this site about 17 years ago, I used to do about 4 or 5 in off season, and I'm too old for that now, Dave. I like to do one a year, and I usually put out my final one, right before the draft gets underway. Now, I think Alex does about 3 or 4 on the site. I think Ross does 3 or 4. Joe Clark does 3 or 4, but we've got a lot of them up on the site. We have one every Monday morning from somebody on the site as well too. So we have more than enough to go around, but I only do one, and that's going to come out right before the draft.
All right, here's a little inside baseball about your website. Do mock drafts, is that the stuff that gets the most clicks?
They do well. A lot of our original content obviously does well, stats based, anything kind of outside of the norm. And then obviously any real news heavy stuff, kind of breaking news stuff does real well. But yeah, people have always liked mock drafts, and that is especially on Monday morning coming out of the weekend, whatever that first mock draft is every Monday during draft season, that usually is a big hit and helps lead the day in traffic.
I know. You know what? I have people who listen to this segment, and they're always sending me notes like, Dave, quit asking Dave about Aaron Rodgers. Can we do a segment that doesn't have anything about Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. Well, it's not going to be today, because here's my question for you. In a scenario where Aaron Rodgers does not return to the Steelers, how does that impact the Steelers' first-round pick, or does it?
I don't think it does, Dave. I'm not getting the sense that they're big on Ty Simpson out of Alabama, and really he feels like the only first rounder not named Fernando Mendoza in this draft class. And you hear Mike McCarthy talk about these AFC North quarterbacks and wanting them to be a little bit bigger and be able to play from the pocket and have the big hands and the big arm. It just does not seem like it fits what the Steelers look for. So if Aaron Rodgers does not come back, obviously Kirk Cousins is with the Raiders now. He's no longer an option. I know a lot of people are talking about Derek Carr with the who's retired but still technically I think belongs to the Saints. So I don't think anything would happen there. I really think you just see them go into this draft with Will Howard. I mean, come out of the draft and then go into the season or into training camp with Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. And if they draft someone like a Beck or Cole Payton out of North Dakota State, I think those would potentially be their 3 quarterbacks there. So at this point, I think it's Aaron Rodgers or bust as far as a veteran quarterback goes.
Hey, I never really worried too much about this because the Steelers have never hosted the draft before. But what's your take on this story today that Fernando Mendoza, who's going to be the first overall pick to the Raiders, is not even going to be there?
Yeah, no, I bet the NFL's not happy about that.
You got that right.
Because you want telegraphed out this far too, and I know a lot of times we have a good idea who the first round pick is, but sometimes you kind of wonder if a team might trade in there and get a guy, or someone else might go first or something. But we all know Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first round draft pick. So at this point, you have to think that the NFL just doesn't like it from a draw standpoint and be able to fill some airtime right after the pick is over with. Now, they'll probably have a camera there set up in Mendoza's house in Miami and be able to get an instant interview that way, but it obviously takes away from some of the synergy there in Pittsburgh. And I would guess, the city of Pittsburgh is not too happy either, because, you want that as a draw to potentially draw maybe some of them Raiders fans out to the draft stage as well too. So interesting decision, but I understand it overall.
Yeah. You know what? On Mondays at 5 o'clock, I have Carl Lee on as a co-host in the 5 o'clock hour, and he was an all-pro corner with the Minnesota Vikings. And ironically, he is best friends with Sterling Sharp, who just went into the Hall of Fame after a great career as a wide receiver with the Packers. So we were talking back and forth yesterday about their relationship. And the reason I bring this up, there's a really interesting story at Steeler Depot today about JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., and the wide receiver he talks the most trash to. Give me the Cliff Notes version of that story, because I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he was on a podcast and doing an interview and asked something along those lines about, trash talking and all. And he talked a little bit about, how he's learned, in the one season with Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey loves to talk a lot of trash, and we got to see that last year with Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase, and then the little spat between that those two players had there. And Joey Porter in essence said, yeah, I've learned to really love talking trash. Essentially, it's not hard for him to do. And he says he and Jerry Jeudy, who, obviously last season with the Cleveland Browns, he really enjoys getting under his skin. And if you remember last year, those two kind of went after each other during the game. I think we got a good still shot of it up on the website there from that game that was on CBS Sports last year as well, too. So, that seems to be his favorite player of talking trash to. But I imagine anybody that lines up across from Joey Porter Jr. Last season and this coming seasons as well too is going to get a lot of trash talking out of JPJ.
Well, I think that was really interesting. Also, the fact that he's being mentored in this category by by Ramsey, and the fact, hey man, Ramsey had it really working last year when he got Chase upset to the point where he reacted and got him suspended for a game.
Yeah, absolutely. Spit on him. And then obviously we had the Zapruder film coming out of that, was able to break it down and saw that happen. And then, as you mentioned, Chase ended up getting a game for that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. It's a good article. It's posted today at SteelerDepot.com. All right, Dave, I got to wrap it here, but we'll be talking more about the draft next week when you join us. Have a great week.
All right, you as well, too. Hopefully we'll have a good, 6, 8, 9 more pre-draft visitors to talk about and start honing in on some of these possibilities for the first-round draft pick here. Have a great week, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the entertainment report. Stay tuned.
Don't forget about our podcast. Check out your favorite podcast provider or simply go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the podcast link. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
5, 3. All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
There's some good news out there, way out there, because the Artemis II crew has now flown farther than humans ever have. They have flown. They are farther than humans have ever gone. But you have to ask, what are they running away from?
Fair enough. Fair enough. 428, almost halfway home in this edition of Metro News Hotline. Thanks to have you tuned in. Time now for Talkin' TV and more. Here are the latest entertainment headlines today from ABC.
ABC Entertainment News.
Grammy Award winners Lady Gaga and Doechii have teamed up for a song for The Devil Wears Prada 2. A sneak peek of the song can be heard at the end of the final trailer for the highly anticipated sequel, which was released on Monday. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is set to be released on May 1st. Disney is the parent company of 20th Century Studios and ABC News. Sabrina Carpenter has released her music video for House Tour. The video for the viral hit features Carpenter alongside Emmy Award nominee Margaret Qualley and Outer Banks star Madeline Klein.
The sky is darkening.
Netflix has released their first trailer for Lord of the Flies. The Emmy Award-winning co-creator of Adolescence, Jack Thorne, has adapted the dystopian classic for the silver screen. Lord of the Flies is set to premiere on May 4th. And happy birthday to Academy Award winner Francis Ford Coppola, who is 87 today. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Michelle, thank you. Tonight on the broadcast nets, ABC Will Trent at 8, High Potential on ABC at 9 o'clock. It's the season finale. All NCIS all the time on CBS tonight. NCIS at 8, Origins at 9, Sydney at 10. NBC's got basketball tonight. And on PBS, 9 o'clock, the series premiere of Lucy Worsley Investigates the American Revolution. We'll take a break and come back and talk some hockey in a moment. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. A shooter who opened fire on deputies is hospitalized with gunshot wounds and is now facing charges.
The adult woman, whose name was not released, was firing shots in a wooded area just west of Greenbrier West High School just before midnight Monday. Deputies arrived at the school and heard the shots coming from the woods. When they went to investigate, Sheriff Bart Baker says that suspect opened fire on them, and they returned fire, hitting the suspect.
It turned out to be an adult female, unknown at this time what she was doing in the area or why she was shooting.
When she was down, deputies moved in and performed first aid and got the ambulance rolling. She was flown to a trauma center outside of Greenbrier County and is in stable conditions, and state police are investigating the actions of the deputies. I'm Chris Lawrence, WVMetroNews.com.
A Brooke County couple allegedly tortured 2 pit bulls by allowing them to live in deplorable conditions. The 2 counts of animal torture are new charges against Caleb DiCaprio and Hope Taylor. They were charged last week with 28 counts of gross child neglect after the death of their 1-month-old child. Read more at WVMetroNews.com. Look for Governor Patrick Morrisey to be active on the campaign trail over the next 5 weeks between now and the May 12th primary election. Morrisey promising as much in a social media post earlier today, criticizing what he calls too many rhinos, Republicans in name only, in the legislature. You're listening to Metro News, for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Come on, Liam, let's go. Get open. Come on, go for it. Wake up. Wake up, Liam. Oh, come on, use your head. Gotta want it. Dominate.
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. Like, it's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Morgantown Mayor Danielle Trumbull says she hopes an ongoing problem within the city limits and the collection of the 1% additional sales tax collected in the city now straightened up with the state.
Last summer, the state actually moved to a better GIS system for determining where is responsible for paying sales tax and where isn't.
Trumbull says the confusion comes from Morgantown's boundaries being difficult to navigate. Read more at WVMetroNews.com. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Veterans, plan ahead to ensure your loved ones are protected at the end of your life. Include a copy of your discharge papers with your will. Apply for VA life insurance. Write your healthcare decisions in a living will. Review survivor's benefits. Explore VA burial options with a pre-need application. Don't wait. Visit va.gov/plan-ahead to learn more.
All right, welcome back to the show. You know what? I like these new Hockey Insider segments we're doing. Did one of those a week ago, and we're going to continue to do those throughout the playoffs, so we're going to get into that in just a minute. We're going to talk about the Pens, talk about the Caps, also going to talk about the rash of firings. It's funny, and I think this is a fact. How about that for a statement? I think this is a fact that there is more turnover in coaches behind the glass in the NHL than any other professional sport, right?
Really?
I think so.
More so than the NFL.
I think it's not even close.
Wow.
I think it's not even close. Well, but let's let the experts figure that out.
There we go.
All right. But you know what? I need to have that on a T-shirt. I think this is a fact.
I think this is a fact.
I think this is a fact.
That could be the slogan for the show.
I know. Yeah, I think you're right. Here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. So, Michigan won college basketball's national championship last night. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? Secondarily, are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? And that second question is a little trickier than you might think originally when you hear it. And that's been the tone that many of the people who have responded have felt as well. Question of the day, is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? We will get into that in a second. Alex Wiederspiel joins me, our MetroNews Hockey Insider, to talk about the end of the regular season, which is now, I guess, just days away, and the beginning of the playoffs. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm good. 9 days left. That's it.
Nine days left, so we're down into single digits, man. Hey, before we go any farther, where can people find you? You're on YouTube. You're on Yardbarker. What other things are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah. In addition to the work I do here in Clarksburg, if folks want to find my work, and I'm working on something kind of fun that's going to tie into the end of the college basketball season with hockey. You can find that at yardbarker.com. And then also, the podcast every night, either at YouTube or your preferred podcasting platform. It's Locked On NHL Game Night.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Penguins. So the Penguins are on the verge of going back to the playoffs. And you know what? I'm kind of a spoiled Penguins fan where I was more concerned at the beginning of every season as to whether or not they were going to be a cup contender as opposed to just simply making the playoffs. But it's going to be good to feel that the Pens are back in the postseason.
Absolutely. And again, I describe this as Pittsburgh's curtain call, right? Because this is like a historic heater for the general manager, Kyle Dubas, where every single scratch-off lottery ticket, right, he just nailed all of these. A better heater than my NCAA bracket that was great up until the Final Four hit. And it was a historic work by Dubas, bringing in guys, as we talked about last week, Anthony Mantha, who went from playing only 13 games a year ago to scoring more than 30 goals this season fully healthy. And that has allowed the Penguins to get into contention when they were essentially, of the 32 teams in the NHL walking into this season, they were probably the only team in hockey that was actually using the term strategic retreat instead of rebuild. Nobody else was really using that terminology. Everybody else wanted to be competitive. And yet, in spite of that, here the Penguins are. They're going to clinch a playoff spot this week.
Yeah, the Penguins play the Devils in Jersey on Thursday night. At the beginning of the season, they had a 9% chance of making the playoffs, and they're probably going to clinch later this week. And Sidney Crosby just wrapped up his 21st consecutive season where he averaged a point per game. He looks like he's got a lot in the tank. Geno Malkin's had just a resurgence this year, just reached the 1,400-point plateau. The Pens are locked into either the second or the third place finish in the Metropolitan and will most likely meet Philadelphia in the first round of the playoffs. Is that a good matchup for Pittsburgh?
I've been going back and forth on that. I'm not 100% sold on either of these teams, and I do like the way Philadelphia, I've been a doubter all season for a couple of reasons, and I still think one of those reasons could prove true in the playoffs. Their goaltending has been much, much better since the Olympic break. It was among the worst in the league in the weeks leading up to the Olympic break, and both goaltenders, Sam Ersson, who's the backup, has been way better. I think he's been something like 30 percentage points, or I guess more accurately 3 percentage points, depending on where your decimal place is, better than he has been, and of course that represents quite a few goals saved. But their starter, Dan Vladar, has been a lot better as well, and Vladar is noteworthy because this is a guy who was a career backup coming into this season. When they brought him in as the starter, I didn't have anything against him as a player. Thought this is a really, really good goalie who, given more opportunity, would have the potential to do well. But I was skeptical about him holding up over a 50-game season. And that might, or workload, I should say, and that might still be true. And I think with the way Pittsburgh puts the puck in the back of the net, I think that is a problem for Philadelphia. One that we won't really know an answer to until we get to that point.
All right, so you just mentioned Kyle Dubas. I think one of the big issues that's on his desk after the playoffs are over, or maybe he's thinking about it now, is what to do about Malkin. I mean, he's going to be a free agent. He's coming. He's in the final year of his contract at $24.4 million. He makes $6 million plus per. He's 39 years old. Look into your 8 ball. What do you see the Penguins doing with Malkin? A 1-year deal, a 2-year deal? He leaves Pittsburgh. What do you think is going to happen to Geno?
I really don't think he'll leave Pittsburgh. I think the issue here is obviously if folks are not aware, the Penguins are one of the most flush teams in terms of salary space, maybe calorie space as well. I don't know, but salary space heading into next off season. And it's worth noting there's been a salary cap explosion thanks to the new collective bargaining agreement that steadily rises over these 3 years. So the Penguins can, if they want, basically name a number. And I think that they'll be able to meet, or Gino more accurately could name a number, and I think the Penguins could pretty easily meet that number and not worry about it impacting other parts of the roster. I think the issue is that Kyle Dubas, as a general manager, I have a sneaking suspicion that where he's going to fall on this is that he's going to have a number internally in his mind based on their internal metrics, and I don't know that he's going to want to go past that. I think he might be willing to, based on Malkin's history, based on the way this season has gone, but I would say 1 or 2 years. 2 is probably the maximum. I'd have to imagine. As I understand it, that's a contract negotiation they're not going to talk about until the Penguin season is over.
I want to ask you about the Caps here in a second, but first, just a comment about, last time you were on, we were talking about the fact that Vegas had fired their coach. Now the Islanders have changed coaches. The Devils have just fired their general manager. And just want to get your reaction to something I was talking to Matt about. It's not my imagination, right? That in terms of pro sports, the NHL front offices and coaches have a tendency to turn over more than the other sports.
That's right. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers for the other sports in front of me, but I think it's now at about 2.3 years is the average life cycle of an NHL head coach. And there are only a handful of coaches at this point who have even been around for 5 years or more with the current team that they're coaching. Mike Sullivan obviously used to be that guy. He's now with the New York Rangers in his first season with them. So there's only a handful of guys, John Cooper with Tampa, Jarod Bedekovich with Colorado, Marty St. Louis with Montreal, who have actually done it at this point. So no, you are not imagining this. And more than likely, if we were to compare it to the other sports, I do think the NHL would likely be number one as far as the 4 or 5 major North American sports for quickest turnover.
So what went wrong with the Caps this year? What was the problem in your estimation?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing for me is, two things. Number one, Pierre-Luc Dubois was really good last year. That's the center that they traded for from Los Angeles, sort of a distressed asset swap deal where they traded goalie Darcy Kemper, and Kemper hadn't had a great year with Washington. He was on a contract that the Capitals really didn't want to pay. Pierre-Luc Dubois similarly had signed this huge 8-year deal with the LA Kings, and the Kings were pretty much done with him after 1 year. Well, they traded distressed assets, and it actually worked out really well for both sides, a rare win-win in that case. Dubois missed something like 51 games this year, and even in the 20 or so games he's been available, 25 games, he has not been himself. And so that's your number 2 center, arguably your number 1 center, depending on matchups each night. That's problem number 1. And then problem number 2 has been the backup goaltending. Logan Thompson's been phenomenal as their starter, but they're not getting what they need from backup Charlie Lindgren. He has not been very good this season. And it's not all on Lindgren, right? They've also been injured on the back end. They have an aging defense core. One of those guys, John Carlson, had been in and out of the lineup, a really good player. And then ultimately when Washington felt like they were probably not going to be able to compete, they traded Carlson at the deadline to Anaheim for a first-round pick, probably or potentially a future Hall of Famer. But the thing that's really noteworthy is I don't think Washington could have predicted that at the time of the trade deadline. They were way out of it. These other teams like Detroit and the Islanders have really fallen apart. Same with Columbus as well in the last couple of weeks post-deadline.
All right, and we're talking with Alex Wiederspiel, starting to wind down our MetroNews Hockey Insider. So talking about the Caps now. So what about Ovechkin? I mean, he's also in a situation where he's going to be 41 years old before the start of next season. He's going to be a free agent. I mean, how many records are left? He's got the career goals. He's got the combined regular season and playoff goals record, over 1,000 goals. What are the Caps going to do? How much longer is Ovi going to play? What's his next contract going to look like?
I think this could be it. I think the Capitals would be happy to give him a blank check, even though he's not the player he was. He's still very effective in the role that he's in. The issue is it's been kind of radio silence, and though I can't say this with any certainty, my suspicion is that Alex Ovechkin is not necessarily the type of player after he just had this great goal chase. I don't know that he's ready to do a second event quite like that where he's doing a farewell tour. I kind of feel like the Gold Chase was his farewell tour, so I could see him hanging it up now. If he comes back, I'm guessing a 1-year deal, and that's kind of it. And whatever the number will be, whether it's $5 million, $8 million, it almost doesn't matter again in this cap environment, and especially for 1 year.
So, Ovechkin leads the Caps in points. He's got 61 points. He leads the team in goals. That's no surprise either. He's got 31 points. Alex, thanks for jumping on with us today. Next time you come on with us, 2 weeks from today, the playoffs will be underway.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Thanks for jumping on with us, and I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
All right, Alex Wiederspiel, our MetroNews Hockey Insider. Getting a little talk about the Penguins. They don't play again until Thursday night in Jersey against the Devils. And as Alex said, they'll clinch a return to the playoffs for the first time in a couple of years at some point in the very near future. We will. Alex is going to be with us, by the way, every couple of weeks in this time slot, every Tuesday at 4:33 throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and have the On the State file cracked open in a moment.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com to apply. That's WVMetroNews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Hi, I'm Alex Cook, and I'm a project manager with CEC. When people ask why I work at CEC, I tell them it's because we turn visions into reality right here in West Virginia. I point out the roads, parks, and bridges we've developed and the streams we've restored. Then I mention the team, engineers, surveyors, scientists, all working together and the supportive culture we share. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about, this, or what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text, okay? So what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now
right.
you just
okay. So I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All right, welcome back to the show. Anthony Lewis is going to be here in about 15 minutes. We'll get into some Mountaineer topics, and he'll hang out for in or out as well. But now it is time to crack open the On This Date file, and we'll start with the birthdays. And as always, we'll start with the sports birthdays. James Buster Douglas. Remember the night he beat Mike Tyson in Tokyo in 1990? Matt, we interviewed Buster Douglas in this building.
Really?
We had Buster Douglas in this building. Really good guy. Had him for about 30 minutes.
That's
really
awesome.
Really good dude. From Columbus, 66 years old. Ricky Waters, good NFL running back, 57 years old. Lovett Purnell, former WVU tight end in the NFL with the Pats. Happy birthday, 54 years old today. Brett Tomko, pitched for the Wheelers, the Reds. He was in the Ken Griffey Jr. trade, went back to Seattle. Another good guy, 53 years old. The Barber brothers, the twins, Rondé and Tiki, born on this date, 51 years old. Tony Dorsett, Hall of Fame running back, won the Heisman in 76, Super Bowl with the Cowboys in 1977. Man, he was a monster at Pitt. Let's flash back to that game in 1976 where he went for 224 yards on 38 carries in Pitt's 24-7 win over Penn State.
The ironic thing here is that Dorsett, when he was in high school, would have preferred to go to Penn State. He felt, however, that they did not recruit him heavily enough, so he wound up with Johnny Majors at Pittsburgh, and consequently he became the greatest runner in college football. On this play, a typical Tony Dorsett run against Navy this year, Dorsett broke Archie Griffin's all-time career rushing record to be the greatest runner in football.
Here's a 3rd and 3 at the 6. To Dorsett. Dorsett has 6 points.
There you go. Tony Dorsett having a birthday today. He's 72 years old. From entertainment, John Oates of Hall & Oates is 78. Janice Ian is 75. Jackie Chan, 72 years old today. Francis Ford Coppola, the director of The Godfather and so many other great movies, 87 years old. Russell Crowe is 57 years old. I guess this is his signature role from Gladiator.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Russell Crowe, happy birthday, 57 years old. On this date, 1970, the Academy Awards, John Wayne wins the Best Actor Oscar for True Grit.
Trust you to buy another tall horse.
Yeah. He's not as game as Bo, but Stonehill says he can jump a 4-rail fence.
You're too old and too fat to be jumping horses.
Well, come to see a fat old man sometime. Yeah!
Also from golf on this date, 1963 at the Masters, 23-year-old Jack Nicklaus wins the first of his record 6 green jackets.
Nicklaus makes his approach putt. He knocks it 3 feet past the pin. Nicklaus sinks it, and by the margin of 1 stroke, at 286 total, he's the new Masters champion. Arnold Palmer helps him put on the green jacket, symbolic of Masters victory. At 23, Jack Nicklaus from Columbus, Ohio, is the youngest golfer to win the title.
And our musical birthday to the break, Bobby Bear, just over the river in Ironton, born. 91 years old today. The 5 things to know at 5 o'clock in sports are next.
Detroit City, and I dreamed about those cotton fields.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The conversation starts long before the game.
He doesn't do this to other guests, but every time I'm on here, he creates distractions.
Disrespectful.
With his phone. I mean,
I have to have the phone on in case Pete Thamel breaks another story.
Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for 3 Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television, available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronews.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
At copdfoundation.org.
Sports headlines at 5 o'clock. Major League Baseball. Pirates host the Padres tonight. The Reds will be in Miami. The Guardians beat Kansas City 2-1 in Cleveland this afternoon. The Orioles are trailing the White Sox 2-1, bottom of the 5th at Comiskey. And the AP Top 25, the final one for men's college basketball, is out. Michigan, number 1, of course. 5 Big 12 teams made the Top 25. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so, and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it. Because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school. You did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bounced him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Yeah. 10 seconds remaining. There'll be a direct snap here.
Snap back, it's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws, he's got an open man. Pass top 10, 5, end zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things, and I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard, and if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
This is MetroNews Hotline, presented by Salango Law. MetroNews Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for MetroNews Hotline, Dave Weekly.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's 5:06 and ready to start the third and final hour of our program today, MetroNews Hotline. Thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. I really do appreciate it. We got a lot of stuff to do before we get out of here at 6 o'clock, and I know what you're thinking. Matt Guitar Murphy is doing a great job, and you are, Matt. But when's Coop coming back? Remember Coop from the halcyon days of the show?
Who?
Remember those days when Coop would be here?
Who?
Yeah.
Never heard of the guy.
His suspension's over tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess it ends officially at midnight.
Midnight
tonight. So he's had a few days off. I can't believe. Well, the Reds are out of town.
They are.
Normally, when he takes off a few days, it has something to do with the Reds being at home, but not this time.
Yeah.
Not this time. But Coop will be back tomorrow. But I'll tell you who is here. Anthony Lewis is here, our Mountaineer Insider.
I wouldn't say insider.
I don't know. I'm just adding insider to like all of our popular guests.
It's a good popular title.
Yeah,
these
just
days.
insider. Sounds like you got
Gives
really
me credibility.
You got some inside stories. So we'll get into. Man, I got so much stuff to talk to you about. Let me. We will do in or out a little bit later on in this half hour, and we'll take you on up to 6 o'clock. We got a lot of good responses to our question of the day. So let me get into that question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. Man, I hate it when the basketball season ends. So the college basketball season now is officially over after last night's national championship game in Indianapolis. So the question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law, is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And secondarily, are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? Once again, the question of the day. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? Secondarily, are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? You can respond to that, and I'd kind of like it if you would. Send the text messages in 304-TALK-304. 304-825-5304, or just send me a note on X. I'm always looking at that stuff. Add Weekly, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y, one word, 3 E's, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y. By the way, Matt, we're still getting comments about our conversation in the 3 o'clock hour about the worst seat you ever had in an event.
Oh, I bet.
And we got a couple of really good ones. We'll get into that. So, let me ask you this. What do you think, Anthony? Is the Big Ten the best basketball conference in the country? Right now?
I think it was this year for sure. I mean, when you look at, you had some unexpected teams, like Wisconsin was usually Wisconsin's decent, but they were really good this year. And then you add in, a Purdue, who's here recently, had a pretty good run. Illinois, another great season for them. But then a team like Nebraska kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Not really known for football or basketball, known more for football. So I think top to bottom, I think the Big Ten was a better basketball conference. That Michigan team is one of the best teams I've seen in quite some time. And I feel like maybe sometimes I'd say that after the tournament, but really, when I watched a little bit more of Michigan this year than I usually would, just because my buddy Derek Bailey is a big Michigan guy. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a Wolver. He's a Michigan guy, and then I think I used to watch more of him when John was there, when John Beeline was there. But
he was at the game last night.
Yeah, but I really think that Michigan team is one of the better teams I've seen in the past 30 years. I mean, I'm not saying they're 1990 UNLV good, but they're up there. There's been some good teams.
Game last night, UConn, Michigan held them at arm's length. The game really didn't have any excitement for like the first 38 minutes, right?
It didn't have any flow.
Yeah. Well, nobody could make a shot.
Couldn't make a shot. I thought UConn – I don't know if the whistle really went UConn's way last night.
Oh, it definitely didn't in terms of how many free throws they shot. But, a
foul's a foul.
A foul's a foul. But Michigan was a better team.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think so.
Okay. So Michigan was a better team. It's funny, fun with numbers. You can make numbers line up any way you want. I mean, in terms of the net, the Big 12 was better. The SEC was better. But to be honest, the casual fan really starts watching college basketball when the tournament begins.
Yeah, like March.
Yeah,
8th.
yeah. And so the Big Ten had two teams that went to the Final Four. Arizona got crushed when they got to the Final Four.
Man.
That you had the final AP Top 25 come out earlier today. The Big Ten's got 7 teams in the top 25. The Big 12's got 5, but 3 in the top 10. So, I mean, you can measure it out. That's the one great thing, though, about basketball. In football, now it's changing a little bit with the playoffs where you're playing multiple games. But we had seasons where we were determining who was going to bowl games from games that took place like 4 months ago.
Right.
Okay? Now we can basically look at the NCAA tournament and say, Michigan's the best team in this particular moment. They won 5 games in a row when they scored 90 or more points. They were crushing people this year.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, and that's a feat that I don't know if we'll see again anytime soon. I mean, their offense was on fire through the whole tournament, and if you're going to catch fire, that's the time to do it. You mentioned Arizona, and you want to talk about one of the biggest disappointments. I took it. I'm getting old. I'll be 50 next year. I had to go take a little nap before I was like, got ready. We had ate dinner, took a little nap, got up, watched the Arizona-Michigan game, thinking this is going to be the best game of the tournament. All week long, I kept saying that should be the national championship game. This is so unfortunate. This is the Final Four matchup, and it was a disaster. For Arizona.
Every year, Dick Vitale used to always have this saying where a number 1 seed or a really, really good team is like, you can't base an entire season on one game. And like, well, yeah, you kind of can. You can. Life's not fair. If you're one of the best teams, you're supposed to show out in the NCAA tournament. Virtually every team has injuries. Every team has, rough patches. But it's basically what you do in the tournament that really counts.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find out what you think about our question of the day, about the part where I'm talking, the secondary part. Are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? And the tricky part of this question is it's one thing to think now WVU was one of the handful of teams that actually ended the season with a win. Not very many people can say that. They won the Crown Tournament in Vegas last weekend. But think about what you were thinking about WVU basketball when the season ended last year, okay? WVU should have made the NCAA tournament by most measurements. They didn't get in. Darren DeVries had not left at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you were thinking, hey, WVU was a worthy NCAA tournament team. They just did not get selected. This year, yeah, they won the crown, but there was nobody that was clamoring at the on Selection Sunday that West Virginia was going to get in.
Yeah, they lost that opportunity, I think, with the Utah loss. There was a few losses down the stretch that really knocked West Virginia out. But back to your original question, in January, I didn't think this team would win 4 conference games.
Yeah, there was a lot of
1.
thought like that.
I mean,
That's
I just
true.
didn't have any faith in them. They had blown too many games. They blew games to Clemson, Xavier, Ohio State. They didn't look good in those games when they should have won them. And then And then they did have a tough run at the beginning of their conference schedule was front loaded this year, but to finish 9-9 in the conference and to make a little run, 21 wins on the season, it all looks good on paper. But the hard part, what makes it hard to answer that question is the fact that 6 of these guys are gone, and maybe 7, 8, 9 with the portal. I know they've got a good class coming in. I know they've got some money to work with.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But that's the unfortunate part about the portal era is you really don't get a consistent knowledge of your basketball team. 20 years ago, I would have been excited, like, oh, man, we're going to get Huff back. We're going to get these guys back.
I know.
And then, nothing. This is what the fifth – next year will be what, the fifth season in the row? Third, if they get no one back on the roster, I think it'll be the fourth season in the row with no returning people in the roster.
They'll get a couple of guys back.
Yeah, I think so too. But, 4 or 5 years in a row, you've lost all your starters.
Oh, man. Well, on the flip side, somebody sent me a note within the last 15 minutes about Marshall's basketball team. Matt, have you seen who's left on the Marshall basketball team for the men?
I have not.
There's nobody left. I mean, the portal just opened after the national championship game last night. There's like 1,000 guys in the portal. Spear, Van Komen, Fricks, Ochuti, Moore, Dubinsky, they all graduated. Nutter, Fuqua, Joseph, Spears, Hollenbach, they're all in the portal. That's just the way it goes, man.
It's hard at that level. So a former Marshall coach is a friend, and we had him on one of our shows, and he talked about why he got out of the business. You could probably put 2 and 2 together if you just run down the list of who's young and not coaching at Marshall anymore from this area. But he basically said it's impossible. You do all this work, you go out and find a diamond in the rough, and you lose a guy over $10,000, like $20,000.
Yeah.
It's not worth the stress. That's why he got out of the business.
Well, there's been a lot on the internet today about Kim Caldwell, who had previously been at Marshall, now at Tennessee. They have no one left on their roster.
Yeah, there is nobody there. Mm-hmm. There is nobody there. Their entire roster is gone. Here's something. We talked a little bit more about this last week when we were discussing the emergence of the women's basketball tournament. I mean, in Knoxville, they are going crazy with talk about women's basketball and what to do with Kim Caldwell and the fact that one of their assistant coaches got fired and there's nobody on the roster. They're one season away from going to the Sweet 16. One bad season, and they're talking already about burning it all down. Man, there were only a couple of real big brand names in women's basketball at all 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Shows like this, we wouldn't even have discussions about women's basketball.
Yeah, and that was the cooler talk on Monday morning was the whole thing with Gino and Coach Staley and. I watched a lot. I probably watched more of the women's tournament this year than I did the men's tournament. There's a huge audience for it. But Coach Caldwell at Tennessee is really taking one on the chin. I mean, she's 3 or 4 years removed from a national title at Glenville, and an NCAA run at Marshall, a Sweet 16 at Tennessee, and then boom, they want her gone. That's the price you pay for going to schools like Tennessee and taking jobs at UCLA on the men's side. If you don't live up to if she doesn't live up to Pat Summitt's shadow and reputation, they want you gone.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
And who wants to be the next person to follow Gino?
Well, that's right. You know what? A lot of smart coaches say you don't want to be the guy that follows the legend.
Right.
You want to be the guy that follows that guy.
Right.
Be that. But I mean, Tennessee, there was so much hype about their team this year, arguably coming off the number one recruiting class in the country. And now all those players that you recruited are gone. The whole staff, the whole roster's gone. Let's take a quick break. We'll play in or out when we come back. Stay tuned.
You can call us at 800-765-8255. Text us at 304-825-5304. Or tweet at WEEKLEY. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state. and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
5, 3.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown!
All right, welcome back to the show. You know what? We're all here. Well, we got a three-man weave today. Anthony's in here, so let's do some in or out. Every day at this time, we focus on the stuff you talk about at the office. We call it in or out. The setup is simple. 3 categories: food or beverage, gut reaction. Finally, this one's about a celebrity, the topics of which change daily. Let's get started with food or beverage. Matt, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Well, Pizza Hut Canada just introduced a hot dog stuffed crust pizza, marking baseball's arrival. The limited time offering includes an entire hot dog baked into each slice's crust. It follows Pizza Hut's recent March Madness promotion featuring Space Jam-themed boxes. A medium hot dog stuffed crust pizza cost about $20. Hot dog stuffed crust pizza, in or out. So just imagine the slice and the crust, and there's like a whole hot dog in there.
Listen, I am all about putting food things into pizza crust. You could put cheese in there, you could put pepperoni, you could put sausage. There's so many things you could put in there. But why a hot dog? I like hot dogs, don't get me wrong. But I don't need a hot dog in my pizza. I gotta be out on that. I gotta be out. I'm sorry.
So you're out on pizza and you're out on hot dogs.
No, I'm in on both of those.
Just want to make sure I got that in your testimony.
Now, that is not what I said, Your Honor.
Okay. Anthony, a hot dog stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut, in or out?
This sounds like this is just kind of targeted at West Virginia. You know?
I know.
I know. This does when you think about what goes into a hot dog, this does not sound good.
Yeah.
At all. You know, mixed with your pizza. I'm totally out on this. They've got to go back to the drawing board.
All right, here's where you guys are wrong. Don't you love a sentence that begins like that? Here's where you're wrong. You eat the pizza down to the crust, and then you basically got a pig in a blanket, right?
Yeah, but that's effort.
Right?
That's multi-steps.
Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't go into this without a plan. I mean, you did pay $20 for
Get the mustard out there.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, just eat the pizza slice down to the crust, and then eat the rest of it like it's a pig in a blanket. I'm going to be slightly in on this.
Savage.
Hot dog stuffed crust pizza. All right, gut reaction is next. Malte Dinzer, an Austrian man known as the King of the Freaks with a large Instagram following, just broke the Guinness World Book record by threading balloons through his nose and out his mouth. He did it filming a German TV series in Munich, and he was successful passing uninflated balloons from one nostril through his mouth 10 times in 60 seconds. All right, balloons through your nose and out your mouth, 10 in 60 seconds, in or out?
All right, look, I've been to Munich 3 times in my life, and the one thing that you will pick up on very quickly is everyone there has piercings. There's just holes in their bodies everywhere, which I'm okay with. I'm metal, though. Metal, not balloons. Here again, Your Honor, I have to be out.
You know what? I should have saved this for Coop's return tomorrow because he hates these world record things. Austrian man sticks balloons up his nose for a world record, Anthony, in or out?
We're about 6 years removed from COVID, so just think back to taking those COVID tests when they shove those things up your nose and wincing and your eyes running. I'll be out on this. I did not enjoy the COVID test, and I could not even imagine what a balloon through my nose would
You know,
be
it's
like.
funny you bring up COVID because this is the kind of thing that we probably would have watched because we were so bored out of our minds with no sports, right?
Right.
Yeah, that said, totally out on this. Totally out on this. All right, this is pretty interesting. It looks like ESPN is shuffling their Monday Night Football teams. So they're putting together a B team. And according to Andrew Marchand of The Athletic, he says that Steve Levy could be the B team play-by-play announcer. He's done some of the play-by-play in the past. Of course, ESPN's got Buck and Aikman for their number one team. Steve Levy, in or out?
This guy's been on ESPN since 1993.
I'll give you extra credit if you can give me his age.
63.
61. 61.
Here's the thing. He is one of the most trusted people in sports. He has been one of the faces of ESPN for decades. And anything to get Buck out of the booth.
No, he's not going anywhere.
No, get rid of him. Keep Troy, but Buck's got to go. No, I'm in on Steve Levy.
You know, I forgot for a moment there you're a Packer fan, so I know where you're going with this. Anthony, Steve Levy, in or out?
You know, again, he's been around forever, but I don't understand ESPN's desire to have, you know, you've got Joe and Troy.
No, don't say it. Don't say Joe Buck.
You got the Mannings doing the simulcast, and then they're probably, you know, didn't McAfee do something crazy too?
They're talking about Dave Pash may be involved in this too.
I mean, no disrespect. So back to Levy, I'll be in on him, but I'm out on the desire to add more teams to this thing.
You know what? I'm going to be in on Levy because he was basically already both feet in when ESPN used to have hockey. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
And now that they've got hockey back, you know, I can watch him do a game. I think he's pretty good on a hockey game. He could call an NFL game. I'll be slightly in on that. Anthony, good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
We'll take a quick break here for news at the bottom of the hour. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hotline with Dave Weekly will return on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Morgan Pemberton. A Brooke County couple charged in the death of their 1-month-old child now faces additional charges.
21-year-old Caleb DiCaprio and 20-year-old Hope Taylor now face 2 counts each of torturing animals. Those charges were filed Monday as the investigation continues. They were arrested last week on 28 counts of gross child neglect resulting in death after the death of their 1-month-old child. Brooke County deputies say the conditions at the Follinsby house were some of the worst they've ever seen. Deputies say the baby had a bruise on the back of the head and blood on the face. Now, the new criminal complaint details the alleged mistreatment of 2 pit bulls who are both alive but emaciated with several other medical issues. Bail has now been doubled for DiCaprio and Taylor from $100,000 to $200,000. They remain in the Northern Regional Jail. I'm Jeff Jenkins, WVU MetroNews.com.
A woman who is recovering from a gunshot wound will eventually face charges after she fired shots at Greenbrier County Sheriff's deputies Monday. Sheriff Bart Baker stated the suspect was located in the woods near Greenbrier West High School. She was shot after firing the shots at 3 officers. Baker says it's unclear what the suspect was doing in the area.
It turned out to be an adult female. Unknown at this time what she was doing in the area or why she was shooting.
State police are handling the investigation. You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Chris Waddell, Principal and Office Lead for Martinsburg for CEC. After serving in the military, I found my home in Martinsburg. Traveling across the states, I've always wanted to serve my community. At CEC, I get to do just that. Our core values, clients first and we own it, resonate with my mission-driven background. We solve problems by listening and collaborating, and as an employee-owned firm, we take pride in every project that we do. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
A Wood County man entering a guilty plea in connection with a 2024 double murder. 41-year-old Bradley Cantwell entered a Kennedy or Alford plea Monday on 2 counts of second-degree murder in the shooting deaths of 41-year-old James Bailey and 40-year-old Felicia Goff. Prosecutors stated that Cantwell killed Bailey and Goff before he set fire to the one-story house where the bodies were found in May 2024. Cantwell's plea means he didn't admit guilt, but agreed prosecutors had enough evidence to convict him. He will be sentenced at a later date. From the Metro News anchor desk.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the show. Matt, I had to hold Anthony over for a couple of extra minutes.
You're holding him hostage?
Well, I had to hold him on for a couple extra minutes because of something you and I were talking about.
Is this a union building?
Yeah, something you and I were talking about in the 3 o'clock hour. So, and Jeff Jenkins was in here too. So we were talking about watching a basketball game in a football stadium, like the game last night at Lucas Oil Stadium. And Jeff correctly responded that, you know, he was there when WVU went to the Final Four. That's where they played when they beat Kentucky in the regional final and played there. What's the worst seat you have ever had for an event? What's the worst seat you've ever had for a sports event, a concert? I told a story in the 3 o'clock hour. I was in the absolute last row at Three River Stadium for a game I got tickets for in high school. There were only 2 touchdowns scored in the game, both by Lynn Swan, and they were in the portion of the end zone I could not see.
So when I took my daughter to see Taylor Swift, we were pretty far up there. We were maybe 8 rows from the last row in Acrisure Stadium, to the point where you were kind of getting that vertigo.
Yeah.
You know, don't lean forward too far type of feeling. And then when I was a kid, I remember my grandfather took me to a Pirates game one time in Three Rivers Stadium, and we were way up there. And he referred to that. He goes, well, he kept apologizing. Well, the tickets are in peanut heaven. He kept calling it peanut heaven. So that's probably been the 2 worst seats I've had. I mean, like way up there. We were pretty high up for the NCAA game for the women a couple weeks ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we got there. You know, I misread how the tickets worked, but we were dead on at the 50. But we're at 10 rows from the top. That's the highest I've ever been in the Coliseum.
Yeah, I've been up there too. It's kind of, when you're way up there, it's really kind of difficult to see anything going on.
A couple Modelo's later, we were having a good time.
Were those old stadiums like Candlestick and Three Rivers that were multi-purpose? Were those notoriously worse for having blind spots, do you think?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because some of the stands didn't exist depending on which sports you're in there.
Bad seats. There's like that one infamous seat, I think, is it in Boston, that's a partial view, and they sell the ticket.
Oh, I think at Fenway.
Is it Fenway?
I think, yeah.
And then, of course, there's the story Tom Morello tells of his first time seeing Kiss. He says that he got a ticket and it said he gets a partial view of Kiss, and he was behind a pillar.
Okay, I got one of those.
Yeah.
I got one of those, but I wanted to read this. Matt, who's listening out in Utah, he heard this conversation, and he said, worst seats I ever had were at the 2023 National League Championship Series Game 5. That is the sauna that is Chase Field in Phoenix, near the top, and the Diamondback fans sitting next to us screamed obscenities at the Philly players most of the game. Our seats at Oracle tomorrow should be better. So he's going to go see the Phillies play the Giants in San Francisco tomorrow. Blocked view, partial view. I literally one time was at Merriweather Post outside D.C. for Elvis Costello, and I was literally behind the post at Merriweather Post. I spent the whole night, going back and forth, leaning on other people in this completely sold-out show, trying to get a glimpse of Elvis Costello. I could hear him great.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see him.
Is that like one of the sheds, the pavilions?
Yes.
I probably just went to the lawn.
See, a couple years ago, I went up to Cleveland to, what is that? What is this? Where do the Cavs play?
Oh,
what is that called?
Well, it used to be they call it the Q.
Yeah.
The old Gund Arena.
So I saw Blink 182 there. And where I was seated, I was actually like behind where the front of the stage was, off on the side. But because they were kind of on like a rounded stage, I was actually much closer than people that were in the sides further back from the front of the stage. So I was looking at the back side of them, but I mean, they were right there. So it's like, you don't necessarily get the best like front on view, but I mean, sometimes, if you're closer, it's better.
You know what? I think for a future question of the day, this conversation about the worst seat you ever had would be more interesting than the best seat you ever had.
I can tell you the best seat I was supposed to have.
What was that?
Uh-oh.
We went to we had tickets to see the Dave Matthews Band at Three Rivers Stadium, like 96, and a friend of mine was a very high-ranking member of the Warehouse, if you remember that.
Yeah,
I used to do that. I think his number was like 800 and something. And so Ben Harper's playing, it's raining, and we show up to the show, and our seat was in row double A, and I was like, oh, we're probably 20-some rows back. Double A was front row. But the show had started, and they had rushed the front, and we never got to the seats. It was so bad they were already pulling the seats up and passing them over our head for the first 10 songs of the Dave Matthews Band. I remember thinking to myself, I'll never come to a show here again. And I never did because, of course, they knocked the place down.
I had a show at the Civic Arena, at the old Civic Arena, where Tom Petty, this is a great show. Tom Petty was the headliner, and Rockpile was the opening act. And we got there, we were on the floor, and we couldn't find our seats because they were blocked out for the soundboard. Okay,
they killed them.
Yeah, so they killed our seats, and they moved us to like 9 rows from the front on the aisle. So I was like 9 rows back on the right side of the aisle for Tom Petty. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I hate that for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out. We had an experience like that. Took my daughter to see Kiss in Columbus a few years ago, and we didn't know if we were going last minute, so we drove out. We walk up to the box office, and the lady says, they just opened some seats. And that, you know what that means? They have seats that they killed in the stage fit, and they let them back. So we get them, and we're right, just like you were talking about. I felt like I could just take one big step and step right onto the stage.
Oh, nice.
They were kind of catty corner to us, so we were kind of getting aside, but so close I had to warn my daughter, be prepared, because when the pyro goes off, you're going to feel it. And it was right in front of us. That was but I mean, you felt like you could just leap right.
Pyro, man.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
One time when I was at Channel 8, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I knew a couple of people who were involved with him. He was opening for Aerosmith.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over to the hotel. It was right next to Joey's at the time, the old hotel, not the new one. And I interviewed him in the lobby before he went across the road to do the arena. And so I'm backstage for Aerosmith, and I see these red lights come on, on the floor. These red lights start coming on. And when I see that, their entire crew just like covers their ears. And I'm thinking something's happening. And the next thing you know, like kaboom, kaboom.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, you got to be careful with, obviously pyro is very, very dangerous stuff, but like just being in the audience, if you don't expect it. My very first concert was the Commodores in 80, and I was only 4. And there's I guess in my family, an infamous photo of my mom holding me because the lights went down, the intro, huge explosion. I was 4. I just jumped into her arms and cried through the first 4 songs. And there's a picture of me in my crushed velvet shirt, like crying with my mother. But I remember seeing the Commodores.
We're starting to get some text messages about the worst seats. 304-539. Hey, Dave, worst seat I ever had was at the 1998 Pro Bowl in Hawaii. My daughter was on All-American Cheerleader, and she cheered at the game. So high up and so steep, you had to look down between your legs to see the field.
Yeah, my sister was at that game.
Oh, is that right?
She was an All-American. My sister was.
To localize it back to our state and the surrounding states, man, I have been in the upper reaches of Lane Stadium, and it's really scary up there, man. I mean, the stairs are just going like straight up, and it does not feel comfortable when you're really all the way up.
So I got stuck shooting a camera up there in 2002. They stuck me up top, and I was shooting an ENG camera with a studio cam config, and I was almost I think I was above the press box, and I could feel that place.
Oh, man.
Rocking.
When I started at Channel 5, one of the first road games I ever covered WVU was in Blacksburg. I think Wayne Brown caught a touchdown, and it was a low-scoring game. I was on top of the press box. I thought that was going to be a good place to be.
No.
No.
That place is pretty intimidating.
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating. It's just so windy. And if you remember, the place used to be a wind tunnel before they enclosed the stadium.
Yeah. I've not been back for a while.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think the last time I went back there I called a game there. Anyway, I like Lane Stadium. It's relatively close to where we are in Charleston. It's a good place to watch a game.
With all these bad stories, it just lets us know how great we have it, because the Charleston Civic Center, you can buy the last ticket in the building, and you've got a great seat. We went to Hart Cheap Trick. I got a comp ticket may have been from you guys. I don't even know who it was from. It was a radio station. And I just parked myself at the top and was like, going to enjoy the show.
Yes.
And that's where I sat for Cheap Trick, enjoyed it. And then Hart's road people came around because there were some empty orange seats.
Right.
They don't like the artists to see empty seats up close, and they upgraded us to the very front right beside the stage.
Yeah, people were just raving about the girls and the boys tournament this year with all the new seats in the arena. It
Fantastic.
Looked really good.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have to bring this to an end, but that was a good session about worst seats. Worst seats. You know what? Maybe in a relatively near future, we'll bring this back as a question of the day.
There you go.
Anthony, thanks for hanging out.
Good seeing you guys.
How about that? One extra segment with Anthony. That was good. All right, we'll take a break. Come back with a whole lot more. Stay tuned.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today. Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this and what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now
Right.
you just
So I'm gonna
turn on.
I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All right, welcome back to the show. What a good conversation about worst seats.
Yeah.
Worst seats.
That's fun.
The things we get into. And that's sparked even more responses from our listeners. Get a load of this one. This is pretty good. 681-542. Hey, Dave, my daughters went to the Steelers-Vikings game in Dublin this past fall. They were way up in the nosebleeds, and it was really steep, and my one daughter freaked out. They came down and decided to watch the game standing along a rail and were called out by security. They explained that they were scared of heights, and the security said, no problem, we have a fix for that. They took them down to the 30-yard line, 30-yard line seats about midway up the lower level and let them stay there.
Wow.
That's great.
That is awesome.
That is really, really good, right?
That would have been in a soccer stadium, right?
Yeah. Here's another one, 843-301. Hey, Dave, your new NHL Insider sounds a lot like Alex Wiederspiel. That's because it is. That's because it is.
Absolutely it is.
Oh, that is funny. Question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law. Is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or was Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And secondarily, are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? We got a lot of response to this as well. By the way, I'm going to give you a baseball update here in a minute. Oh, and I do want to mention, I think everybody already knows this, but just in case you don't, the game that was scheduled for tonight between Marshall and WVU in Morgantown that was set to begin at 6:30, that game has been postponed because of weather. They're going to play that game tomorrow night. So if you're, you've got your tickets and you've, been out of the loop for the last couple of days, just be aware of that. The game's postponed tonight. It'll be on tomorrow night. So, question of the day, once again, is the Big Ten officially the best conference in basketball again, or is Michigan just the hottest team over the last month? And are you more or less confident about the future of WVU basketball than you were a year ago when the season ended? A lot of response to this. Here's one from Jennings, a regular listener. He says, no, but you have to give the Big Ten their moment as they won both the men's and the women's tournaments over the last few days. Yeah, think about that. The Big Ten, not only did they do that, Michigan won the men's tournament, UCLA won the women's tournament, Indiana won the football championship, all from the same league. So you have to give the Big Ten their moment as they won both the men's and the women's tournament over the last few days. I still think the Big 12 is the best conference. More confident in the future of WVU basketball moving forward. That NIL money they just won helps. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. Wouldn't it be interesting to know what those guys are buying with their NIL money from the Crown?
Yeah. It goes straight to the players, right? It doesn't go to the team?
Yeah. But it's not like they were handing checks out after the game was over.
It'd be cool if they did.
It'd be cool if they did. I think they have to do a little bit to get that money, but the big part they already did.
I was going to say, did they not do enough?
Well, I think they have to fulfill some NIL requirements or I'm not sure exactly what those are, but it's not straight cash, homie. It's
fair.
Not that kind of deal.
All right, fair.
Matthew, hey, Dave. The Big Ten may have the best team, but they're not the best conference. I feel much better about WVU men's basketball and Marshall women's basketball now than I did a couple of weeks ago. I think we were all in agreement on that. Let's see. Here's Old School 58 on X. He says, hey, Dave, WVU, they were this year with the NIL acquisitions, but it's going to be a year-to-year evaluation now. I think WVU will be okay, but we don't have the money to go beyond the Sweet 16. Yeah, well, who knows? Who really knows about these things? But I tell you what, the Big Ten is definitely on a roll. And I do have a tendency when I watch these games trying to imagine how West Virginia would have matched up against Michigan last night. Michigan was a juggernaut. Oh, there's no question about that. Jody on X. Hey, Dave, the Big Ten and the Big 12 are very close in the best conference race. And Michigan was the hottest team in March. I'm worried about our team. Can Coach Hodge continue to find talent year after year to stay competitive in the conference? Great question today. All right, well, thank you for that. Let me get you a couple of results from Major League Baseball this afternoon. A couple of games are already in the books. I want to make sure. Let me make sure this thing's refreshed. The Guardians were winners earlier today over Kansas City. 2-1 was the final score. Games in progress include the O's are now leading the White Sox at New Comiskey 4-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 5th, the Mets, who had an early lead, they've given up the lead, and the Diamondbacks have now come back, and they lead the Mets. That's in the bottom of the 5th. Pirates are going to go at it tonight against the Padres. It's a 6:40 start at PNC Park. Paul Skeens and Nick Pivetta pitching matchup. That's a good one. That's funny looking at Skeens' ERA at 9.53.
Jeez.
After that awful first game against the Mets at Citi Field. But, hey, you know what? This is one of those situations where aces are supposed to win games, right? And in the Pirates situation, it's not like they have a long losing streak. They won 5 in a row. Then they lost last night in a very weak game where they didn't do anything offensively and didn't really play defense very well either. The Reds, this is pretty interesting too. We had Jeff Jenkins in here, and I mentioned this to him off the air. The Reds have scored the fewest runs in the major leagues through the first 10 games. They are averaging less than 3 runs a game. They've got 28 total runs in the first 10 games. Despite that, their pitching's been stellar. They're 7-3. They're 7-3. They won 2-0 last night. It's game 2 of their 4-game set with the Marlins in Miami tonight, and it's a matchup of opening day starters. Andrew Abbott, the lefty, will get the ball tonight for the Reds, and Sandy Alcantara will go tonight, the outstanding right-hander for the Marlins, who's really off to a very good start this season. And the Nats are at home tonight hosting the Cardinals. That's a 6:45 start. Let's take a break, and we're back to wrap it up for the day in just a moment.
Every day, we fight to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, to keep our water and air safe, and to advance clean energy and combat climate change. We're Earth Justice, a national legal nonprofit fighting for your right to a healthy environment. We're Earth Justice, and we're here because the Earth needs a good lawyer. No one fights and wins more cases on the environment than we do. Want to join us in this fight? The time is now. Go to earthjustice.org today. That's earthjustice.org.
Need a break from the headlines and mindless drivel? MetroNews Hotline brings you that much-needed afternoon distraction, but with substance. My decades in journalism, plus a passion for everything from baseball nostalgia to the latest tech trends, mean insights you won't get anywhere else. Coop brings the pop culture know-how and good-natured ribbing, while your calls take things in surprising directions. Tune in for the lively chats that are refreshingly different. Find us from 3 to 6 weekdays on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
I was proud to be a soldier.
I told the truth and got kicked out.
And so I thought to myself, I'm taking this rule down.
If you're an LGBTQ plus veteran, your memories are important too. Share your story with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project, where firsthand accounts from U.S. military veterans are preserved and made accessible for researchers and future generations. Visit loc.gov/vets to submit your stories, photographs, and documents today.
Veterans, plan ahead to ensure your loved ones are protected at the end of your life. Include a copy of your discharge papers with your will. Apply for VA life insurance. Write your healthcare decisions in a living will. Review survivor's benefits. Explore VA burial options with a pre-need application. Don't wait. Visit va.gov/plan-ahead to learn more.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant to U.S. Aging. Learn more at yougotthis.usaging.org.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids are facing hunger every day? Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Discover the WVRC Media app, your gateway to pristine audio for every WVRC radio station across West Virginia. Download it for free from the Apple or Play stores and enjoy the best music, talk, and local news from Beckley to Morgantown, Charleston to Martinsburg. Our stations are locally programmed, delivering the finest music and robust local news and sports coverage. Experience West Virginia radio like never before. The WVRC Media app. We're proud to live here, too.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for the show today. We thank you so much for listening and sending your answers to our question of the day and more. Stay tuned for the news at the top of the hour. Sportsline's on the other side. My name's Dave Weekley. I'll talk to you tomorrow, beginning at 3:06, right here on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Hotline on the MetroNews Network is presented by Salango Law, salangolaw.com. Hear Hotline weekdays from 3 until 6 on this MetroNews station or wvmetronews.com. Visit the site or your favorite podcast service for past shows and features. This has been Hotline, presented by Salango Law on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.